Hey folks, we are getting ourselves back into some martial powers for Monday. Give me a second here while I check my signal real quick to make sure everything's reading. I check my signal. Holy Hannah, that is loud. Okay, hey, we're doing okay here. Let's see. I just need to. Hey, you can check down in the description down below the my Twitter link, which I just uploaded notification that I have gone live. I also creep around on various Discord channels, the DMsGuild Creators Lounge, DTRPG Creators Lounge, Indestructible Boys Designosphere, Treant Monk, and Dungeoneers Pack, Classes and Constructs, Zipperon, Cleric Corner, Rich Mary, Fry Minis, Flagship D&D. So those are the channels I hang out on Discord. Drop me a line, say, hey, I'm Phil Kearney. Beyond that, there's also a link in the description below to the DMs Guild, where all this bundle is being featured, the Color Mana Spell Points bundle. These are all Electrum bestsellers, basically converting spell casting in D&D to the 5-color mana Magic the Gathering paradigm for use with Ravnica, Theros, Strixhaven, or anything else. We're gonna have a big update coming to these next year when we integrate. It currently has Ravnica integrated. We'll be integrating Theros and Strixhaven next year, and I have a suspicion we might be seeing maybe Dominaria in December. That will be also fun to fold into this document. Anything that happens in the future, we'll be able to continue expanding out. The reason I bring them up is not so much that I want you to buy them, because of course you should, but the main point is that you don't have to buy them to make sure that you like how they read. All my published works are cover to cover, 100% preview. You can run an entire 20-level campaign using my stuff, and if at the end of it you're like, yeah, that was awesome, we're going to do that some more, then please buy the books. Having said that, this Martial Powers book that we're working on is also going to be similarly 100% preview. So you can see how all this good stuff happens together. And lastly, if you check in the link down below, there is the link to the Patreon, which, of course, follow me. Be a patron. I would really appreciate you stabilizing income for doing this stuff. But most importantly, is that link specifically takes you to a quick post that says, "Hey, we're developing this on stream." It gives you a link to the playlist that today's episode will be added to once completed, as well as a link to the open playtest content. It's read only. It's not final product. It's not even first. It's not even first writing. It's just development notes and the stuff that I do to get stuff out of my head to drop onto a page, so that we can then have a writer and an editor come through, do the back end cleanup. When they finish with that cleanup, they then pass it back to me. I then put it back here on stream. We go in, we do page layouts so we can see how everything parses out together. Once the layout is done, we then go back through, drop all the pages individually into Photoshop, and then paint whatever spaces open that we think would be cool to have an illustration there. Is there a gap like this big in the page? Great, let's drop something cool in there and just keep go. So all the stuff that we build out, and then once all the illustrations are done, we then publish it to wherever it goes. This one specifically is going to go to the DMs Guild. It'll then cover to cover, 100% preview. You can read it all. It's there for you. And then if you decide that you love it, then you can buy it, and it'll be bundled in with the rest of this stuff. So mix and match, buy as you please. I appreciate your support. But today, let's dive in, because today we are looking at, here's the Martial Powers playtest content itself, and then we wanted to go to sources, game rules, and then class. Today we had vowed to explore the monk. Let's look at the document here real quick, because we know that from our previous escapades, we had dived in. So we've already gone over a couple of times how the barbarian, power barbarian, Path of the Raging Fury works, how the martial champion works for fighters, how the martial trickster works for rogues. Those are your martial classes, and then we get into the hybrid classes, for which we also include monk as a sort of it's more like a warlock with its short rest, key accumulation. And then prior to that, we had worked on the Paladin, which we ran through, and when we ran through that, we had noticed that nothing directly in any of the oaths needed to change themselves, but there were class features that were core to the Paladin more broadly that did need attending to, like the Channel of Divinity, converting to mana, and then converting mana into Channel Divinity. The Cleansing Touch needed a revision. And then Oath Capstone we gave a revision to, but all of the oaths themselves from the Paladin currently don't require any revisions. When next comes out, or when one of these D&Ds come out, we may have to go in and further supplement the document. But that's the glory of doing our own layouts, artwork, and writing, is that we can go through those mechanical revisions as necessary, punch them out to our editor just to do a quick check, and then get it back into the doc and get it back up and running to remain one relevant. Man, I'm having a great day. I'm going to set a timer. I got about an hour from here to play, so let's play. Okay, and then we saw in the Ranger that there was actually a lot of revisions that we wanted to make with the Ranger. Not only the Ranger core classes, such as the, let's go with, let's call it that. We had some revisions to fighting styles, the Mark of Prey, as well as to specific Conclave class features that we went through subclass by subclass to go over. A lot of them don't need any revisions, so we'll come through and we'll clean this stuff up. But like Monster Slayer had major revisions that we had to put to it. Stormkeeper had some changes. And then variant spellcasters, we went through the Warlock previously, as well as the Artificer previously. So now those are all on previous playlist episodes of the previous playlist that are in the playlist link that is linked in the Patreon, and that this will be included with once we conclude today's session. So Ranger had a number of revisions. Different subclasses had some things that needed fixing because of how the interaction with mechanics, sustains, damage scaling, all those things, all those little nuances work, required changes. A couple weeks back, we had about maybe 2 months back, we were playing with mechanics about having ranged smites, dealing less damage unless you paid a kicker price, through maintaining, through sustaining a powers to artificially enhance. How to say, the ranged attacks were artificially reduced so that range wouldn't have a blatant advantage over martials. And then we went in and changed it so that the die would be, originally it was you just couldn't do it. No range strikes. And they're like, well, range strikes is awesome, so we need to have those in there. We can just differentiate between melee and ranged powers if necessary, like the grappling strike. You hit somebody, then you're grappling with them. Well, that doesn't make any sense if they're 500 feet away. You're not going to be grappling with them. So we nicked that. So we had to differentiate between melee and distant powers. Like only a few of them require melee, such as grappling. But then we wanted to make sure they were available to everybody, so we played with having a smaller die. Like instead of a D8, you'd use a D6 if it's a ranged attack instead of a melee smite. And that created, it was clunky, and it created confusion as to, like, I mean, we're already used to different die sizes in weapons, but this is another layer, a mechanical layer that sits on top of the normal game rules. So the simpler and more intuitive you can make that system, the more it's going to resonate with the people that actually want to use it. So to that note, what we had done is we took a half step in between. We left Smite with the same damage die, ranged or melee, but we limited it to only normal range, not long distance at disadvantage. But then we included sustained abilities that when you activate and concentrate on these powers, you would be able to use strikes at your maximum range. using the same damage as everything else. Then we had to recalibrate the paladin so that the smite effects that he was getting benefits from were only working on the bonus die that you get and the bonus against specific creature types. We relegated that specifically to melee attacks instead of ranged attacks. So the ranged paladin at this point is able to hit just as hard as any other ranged character, but when you get them within melee range, they outshine any other classes that would be, any other characters that would be using martial power. Then the ranger had to be revised so that with the unique fighting styles, we have Hunter's Power now. That is, you can channel powers through thrown and weapons at long range. There you go. So a ranger can always fire at long range. You could take 2 levels of ranger, ditch out of it, and go someplace else if you want, but you're going to accumulate power regardless. So all the multi-classes blend together so that your power level, your power ranks, and the amount of powers that you know continue to scale with your character level, while the individual classes that you choose to multi-class into that fray is going to determine the max rank of power that you can actually learn. Like, you might be able to channel 5 mana at 17th, 18th level, 17th level, but if you've only taken 5 levels in like 4 classes to get there, yeah, you can channel up to 5 mana, but you only know first rank, second, 5th level, second rank powers. So the option, you have about half the options that you should, because you only have first and second rank powers that you can learn. And then all the 3rd and 4th rank powers aren't available to you. But you could still scale up a 1st rank power up to spending 5 mana. So you just lose some more of the more exotic, heavier magic effects. The more mundane, basic martial looking stuff still available at 1st and 2nd rank, and you can completely kit out your character. There's like, I think 100 of the powers are 1st and 2nd rank, and then only like maybe 70 or 80 of them are going to be above 2nd rank. So you don't really lose a lot by doing a lot of multi-class, and you can cherry pick among different classes as you please to actually gain an advantage of being able to multi-class like that among the martial classes as you need. So having said all that, we did all the calibrating, we did all the fixing, and now we get to go in today and play around with the monk to see if there's anything going on inside monk subclasses that are going to require our attention, specifically using this system. We've already gone through and added some revisions, like art of mobility changes the replaces unarmed movement. Replaces unarmed defense, and well, yeah, basically unarmed defense. And what else? Monastic traditions, unarmed movement doesn't change. Oh, that's it. Martial arts, key and martial arts themselves. The patient defense, step of the wind, that stuff that got changed, which you can see inside here. Focus strike, key healing, flurry of attacks, martial arts die. Oh, no, that's all. Art of mobility replaces patient defense, step of the wind, and unarmed movement. Well, progression tables, that stays the same. Anyway, this is here. Just go to the Patreon link, click on that, click into this playtest document. It is free for you guys to view, and it's pre-written. Rough mechanical state. So happy to have you guys checking out later on, but come along right now and see what you got going on. Let's see. So yeah, we've already done a number of the class feature revisions. The martial arts die, you can use your power dice instead of martial arts die if you prefer. Flurry of attacks, we made those alterations. Key healing alterations, focus strike alterations, whirlwind attack we created. Art of mobility we created. All this stuff is inside the elemental key project. And so let's go to let's see. Martial powers changes some class features and provides additional options. These and additional optional rules are free to view in elemental key located at DMsGuild. Let's go to yeah, so here is that. Let's go here. Just making this available for reference. Let's go with yeah, that's the one. Cool. And true to word, you can check this out. It is, if you check out over here, you see pages equals 14. And then here has pages equals 14. So I give you the full document, including cover to take a look at. Here's all the mots. We're gonna make we got a page we need to revise this page. We did some mechanical changes to this, so we'll update. That's a great thing about PDFs. So you can just update stuff and it's good to go. So I love updating my PDFs when something new happens. Elemental flowchart. Yeah, check that book out. It is you can do the full preview here, and it's pretty inexpensive to pick up, and it's even less expensive if you jump into this this bundle here. You can see all these books that are all copper plus books: the revised spell list, spell point warlocks, elemental key, the core mechanics, knights and tricksters, the staff preview, and universal spell points, all like 35% off. But I'm not. I want to get now into the monks. These are the changes that we made here. Let's look at. Let's first go to Way of Mercy. We're just picking through here real quick to see if there's anything that we absolutely need to change because of the martial powers, and if there isn't, we can skip it. And then we're going just like with elemental key, we're going through all the subclasses of monk and rebuilding them to be half casters using spell lists and martial powers. So let's just take a look at this guy real quick. Who cares about your mask? Hand of healing, your mystical touch can mend wounds. As an action, you can spend 1 key point to touch a creature and restore a number of hit points equal to a roll of your martial arts die plus your wisdom modifier. So that's actually an improvement. So we're going to go with Way of Mercy. Key, let's see. Hand of healing, third. When you use your flurry of blows, you can replace one of the unarmed strikes. What's that? Plus your wisdom modifier. Yep, plus wisdom mod. Plus power ability mod. No, we'll keep it. Plus wisdom mod. Man. There we go. Hand of healing, hand of harm. You use your key to inflict wounds. When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike, you can spend 1 key to deal. There we go. When you hit with an unarmed strike, can touch target and use 1 key plus wisdom modifier, heal HP. When you hit with an unarmed strike, you can deal 1 power die of necrotic per key plus wisdom mod. You know, if I want to blow all my mana in a round doing this thing, that's up to me. Wizards doesn't have to tell me, oh, it's broken if I use his ability more than once. It costs key, for God's sake. The shit's expensive. I either stun Tiamat or or I deal an extra D6 of necrotic damage. Give it a rest, man. Just let them do what they want. Let's see if there's anything else that's juicy on the side here. Physician's Touch. You can administer even greater cures with a touch. And if you feel it's necessary, you can use your knowledge to cause harm. When you use healing, hands of healing on a creature, you can also end 1 disease or one of the following conditions. When you use hand of harm, you can subject the creature to be in poison condition until the end of the turn. Physician's Touch. Flurry of healing and harm. You can now met out a flurry of comfort and hurt. When you use flurry of blows, you can now replace each of the unarmed strikes with the use of your hand of healing without spending key points for the healing. That's kind of cheap. Make an unarmed strike with flurry of blows. You can use hand of harm with that strike without spending the key or hand of harm. All right. Hey, we're gonna restart that timer. All right, so Flurry of Healing Harm. You can now use both flurry attacks to instead heal with 1 key each. Each. Flurry of Healing and Harm. Now you can use both of your flurry attacks to instead heal with 1 free key each. You can add more key up to 5 to heal. And then attacks made with flurry of attacks deal 1 power die of necrotic damage, and you can add up to 5 more key to do so as well. Approaching the ability of a paladin, but this is specifically with touch attacks. And harm, feeling, cheating, that's pretty good. Hands of Ultimate Mercy, what does this do? Your mastery of life energy opens the door to Ultimate Mercy. As an action, you can touch the corpse of a creature that died within 24 hours and spend 5 key. The creature then returns to life. You almost had it. 4d10 should be 5d10. Hand of Ultimate Mercy. Otherwise, unchanged. That was easy. Let's look at proof. What do you need? Proof. What do you need? Proof. What do you need? All right, we had done a lot of work with Shadow already. Let's see if it's handily available for us just to cutty pasty. Creation. We'll go into monks. Theros, where are they? Monks. There we are. Whew. All right. Well, that seems woefully insufficient for what I wanted. There it is. Which one's more current? Get out of my face. Thank you. We developed this on stream a couple months back. Oh, jeez. How long ago was that? Oh yeah, that was in May. So we built this out on stream in May. It's in the it's in my playlists down below under I think Shadow Monk. I don't remember specifically, but it's in there. I have it built as a half casting class over there, but all this stuff should stay relevant. Let's verify that it does. As an action, you can spend 1 key to create a sphere of shadows that emanates from you in a 10-foot radius. The sphere is centered on you, moves with you, and it lasts for as long as you maintain concentration or until you are incapacitated or die. The shadows turn dim light within 10 feet of you into darkness and bright light in the same area to dim light. In addition, sound is dampened within the sphere, granting advantage to dexterity stealth checks while the sphere is present. The sphere of shadows effective spell level is equal to your proficiency bonus to determine if a light spell's area will dispel the sphere. In addition, you can see normally in darkness with both magical and non-magical to a distance of 120 feet. So that's clean. It works as written. I mean, it works with the content that exists, with the content as written. So this is definitely a modification, but we'll keep at it. Hey man, how you doing? Let's see, Shadow Step. We're doing modifications to the Shadow Monk for the martial powers test. We're just going through each of the monastic traditions to see what needs to be changed. And as always, this document is available for folks to view in the description, in the Patreon link. Click on that into the Patreon. That'll take you to a, hey, here's what I got going on. Click on that and it'll show you the link to this playtest document that I am currently in. You can read along with me in real time and watch me make mistakes on screen as well. So a way of mercy was easy to clean up, just converting dice into power dice and taking into account the changes we have to flurry of attacks from flurry of the flurry of blows that's listed in the player's handbook. Pretty easy conversion. Way of shadow, we had done this in stream already, so this is a far more extensive change that we're making. Let's get rid of that, and get rid of that, and we're just reviewing it right now. Since this is the first time I've actually put it into a book that people can view outside the stream. So this is it, and here we're coming along. Shadow Step, 6th level. You gain the ability to step from one shadow into another. When you are in dim light or darkness, which your Dark Stalker feature provides, as a bonus action, you can teleport up to 60 feet to an unoccupied space you can see that is also in dim light or darkness. You then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of the turn. You could always throw a ball of darkness via spellcasting to the location that you want, and then teleport to that space. So standard action, ball of darkness, bonus action, teleport to it, and then you then have advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of the turn. So if you have to cast your own darkness and then teleport to it this round, you can't actually make any attack because you burned out with your bonus action and your standard action to do so, so you're stuck. But if you have an attack going on and then at the end of last round, then you lob your ball of darkness, then next round it would be set up that you could drop into that ball anywhere you want. So mechanics still apply. Limitations exist. It's important for the game balance. 11th. Cloak O' Shadow. By 11th level, you have learned to become one with the shadows. When you are in an area of dim light or darkness, you can use your action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, or are in an area of bright light. You make an attack. You can use this action to become invisible. You remain invisible until you make an attack, cast a spell, remain light. Okay, great. Shadow Pounce. Not all the classes are going to need this much revision, but the Shadow Monk needed revision. When you gain 17th level, you can strike from the shadows with deadly speed. When you use the Shadow Step feature above, which is use a bonus action to teleport to a dark spot, while you're in a dark spot, you can teleport 60 feet with dark spot, and you can make, then you have advantage on the first melee attack you make at the end of your turn. Great. So, in Shadow Pounce, you can now embellish that with deadly speed. When you use your Shadow Step feature above, you can spend 1 key to use Flurry of Blows as part of your bonus action. You have advantage on both of these attacks. So that cleans up all the narrative language that goes along with the Way of Shadow. It no longer fights itself because the Dark Stalker ability, you can create and sustain that. Let's see. As you spend one key to create a sphere of shadow that emanates from you into the areas. The sphere moves with you and it lasts as long as you maintain concentration or until you are incapacitated or die. The shadow turns to dim lights. Sphere shadow effective spell level is equal to your proficiency bonus for determining if a light spell's area will dispel the sphere. There you go. So, yeah, there you go. Way of Shadow. A lot of fun. Man, I love Way of Shadow, especially with the. I was a big Telfamar Shadow Pouncer enthusiast in 3E when they had prestige classes. That was a rogue PRC that would let you teleport, and when you arrive at the teleportation location, you can make as many, your attacks per round are all made with advantage. And back then they were all sneak attacks, so you get sneak attack, sneak attack, sneak attack. If like you multi-class like from Warlock using Eldritch Glaive, mix with Shadow, Sword Sage from Book of Nine Swords, and then cap it off with a few levels of Rogue, you would end up having, every time you teleport, you can make a full attack. So you could teleport as a bonus action, you could teleport as a free action, you could teleport as a standard action, and every time you did that, you gained 1, 2, 3 attacks, next 1, 2, 3 attacks, next 1, 2, 3. So you could crack off 9 attacks. Doing, I think Eldritch Glaive was doing that full build, was doing like 3d10 damage per attack, plus the 3d6 sneak attack damage, plus you end up getting somewhere like around +8 bonus to the damage. So you could do ridiculous amounts of damage in 3E, but it was like Pathfinder. It didn't really have a cap on the up end of how ridiculous stuff would get. 5E also has very little caps on how ridiculous stuff gets at the higher tiers, which is why you don't see anything being designed past 15th level by Wizards of the Coast, because like I don't know what to do with it. It's like, just make it a 10 level system, dude. You can do that. Keep yourself safe. But that's the shimmy and the shake of that class. So we'll shut that one down and let's just move on to the next one. We have Shadow Way of the Ascendant Dragon. What do I, if anything, have to say about this one right now? You can channel Draconic power to magnify your presence and imbue your unarmed strikes with the essence of a dragon's breath. Gain the following bits. Draconic presence. If you fail a Ka or Ka, you can use your reaction to re-roll the check as you tap into the mighty presence of the dragon. Once this feature turns a failure into a success, you can't use it again until you finish a... Wow, you can't use it again. Okay, Draconic Discipline. Let's fix this shit then. Way of the Ascendant Dragon. Way of the... I didn't think I'd have anything to fix, but sure as shit. Here we go. What is that? 13? This is 14, 13. This is 11. Draconic Discipline. Thank you. Draconic Discipline. Third. So this is going to go Draconic. Fine, we'll do that. 12, 12, 12, 12. I can hear NAC yelling at me already. Why aren't you using subtext? This is a horrible formatting. And sir, I 100% agree with you, but I'm already in for a penny, so I'm staying around for the pound. Pound, pound. I'm just gonna keep at it here, and then make these 12. There we go. Draconic Presence, and that stays at 11. Always thinking of the future. Reroll Ka. Draconic Presence is go. What else? Draconic Strike. When you damage a target with an unarmed strike, you can change the damage type. Draconic Strike. When you damage a target with an unarmed strike, you can deal acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage. When you spend key to increase, when you spend key to channel a martial strike through an unarmed strike, the additional damage can be the same damage chosen for the unarmed strike. Basically, this is letting you change between damage types without having to specifically know a martial power that allows you to do that. Once, if you're going to do crackling electrical damage, when you punch somebody just because you're using your Draconic Strike, then if you're going to dump extra key to ramp up the strike damage, you don't have to know, like, say, Shocking Strike or something, or you don't have to specifically spend air key or red key to deal lightning damage. You can just declare that's what you're doing, and then you do it. So, good value there. Good value. And then... no changes. Next. Breath of the Dragon. Look fast. Six equals, you can channel destructive waves of energy like those created by the dragon you emulate. When you take the attack action on your turn, you can replace one of the attacks with an exhalation of draconic energy in either a 20-foot cone or 30-foot line that is 5 feet wide, your choice, and choose a damage type as a cold, fire, lightning, poison. Each creature in that area must make a saving throw against your key save DC, taking damage of the chosen type equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one. At 11th level, the damage of this feature increases to 3 rolls of your martial arts die. 2, 5, 9, 11th. I can see it being 11th. Okay. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest. While you have no uses available, you can spend 2 key to use this feature again. I am totally cool with this. Breath of the Dragon, 3. Roll, martial, do that again. Got another 20 minutes left. Can use 2 power dice for damage. 11th level equals 3 power dice. It doesn't say anything about ramping, so I'm good with it. Let's see, what's next? Wings unfurled. When you use your Step of the Wind, you can unfurl spectral draconic wings from your back that vanish at the end of the turn. While the wings exist, you have flying speed equal to your walking speed. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency modifier and regain all your expended uses when you finish a long rest. Is that also 6th? Let's see. If no uses are left, spend 1. You can use 2 power dice with damage. Yeah, okay, yeah. 2 key for 2 dice. That tracks with the smite, but it's AoE, so that's cool. And then you get the freebie. I don't need to modify that. That's cool. When using our left spin, but I don't think this is much. This is basically Step of the Wind, but it's flight instead of running along a surface, right? If no uses are left, spin 1 key. Can lock this feature to sustain. Can lock 2 key to sustain this feature. Okay, so it's 1. You can use it a number of times. You can spend a key to get more uses out of it than what is normally used. And if you choose, you can lock 2 key to retain use. And again, now locking key means that you're reducing your maximum amount of key that you can even use at all. So at 6th level, you'll have a max key limit of 2. By locking 2 key, you gain flight, but you can't use flurry of attacks. You can't use stunning strike. You can't use anything that requires key at all because you've dropped your max key limit from 2 to 0. Ergo, all you can do is like if you have like, well, if you pick up my monk rebuilds, of course elemental key is the only one out right now, but you can see that Way of the Shadow is far underway and Way of the Sun Soul is suitably similarly done. Both of those, all these things are all half casters, which means they'll have access to cantrips. So even though your key limit drops to 0, 0 is the casting cost of a cantrip. Ergo, you can still use cantrips even if you have it locked up, which is great because you can do cool things like I don't know, Eldritch Blast. Shut up. There you go. Wings unfurled. That's resolved. Can lock 2 key to sustain this feature. And what else we got? Aspect of the Worm. What does Aspect of Dumb Worm do? The power of Draconic Spirit now radiates from you, warding your enemies, warding your allies or inspiring fear in your enemies. As a bonus action, you create an aura of draconic power that radiates 10 feet from you for 1 minute. For the duration, you gain one of the following effects of your choice: frightening presence or resistance. Once you create this aura, you can't create it again until you finish a long rest, unless you spend 3 key to create it again. It's 11th level. That's your max key limit. At 9th level is 3, just like any other half caster would be, just like any martial powers class has throughout this entire project. And then therefore 11th level, having a max key limit of 3. This ability costing 3 key, riding curve, no problem at all. Barely an inconvenience. You and your allies are all resistant to that damage. Choose a, this lasts for, 1 minute. Ascended Aspect. What is this? Aspect of the Worm, no changes. No changes, incredibly satisfied. What's my last bit? Ascendant Aspect. Oh boy. I don't have high expectations for what I may be having to deal with here in a little bit, like when I get open hand and stuff. There could be there's a lot of changes we're making here on the fly, folks, but I'm happy with them because most of the stuff I've thought about, but I haven't just put out on paper. Like I've gone through all these subclasses multiple times now for the half casting subclass rebuild project that I'm in. Which of course I put on hold for martial powers as a large, so I'm actually having a lot of fun coming back and visiting these things again. 17th level, let's see, 17th level, wait, this is a dragon feature, Ascendant, Ascendant Aspect. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to go? Okay, cool. Let's keep it up. Augmented Breath. Your spirit reaches its peak. You gain the following features. Augment Breath. When you use your Breath of the Dragon, you can spend 1 key to augment its shape and power. The exhalation of draconic energy becomes either a 60-foot cone or a 90-foot line that is 5 feet wide. And each creature in that area takes damage equal to 4 rolls of martial arts die on a failed save, or half as much damage. Okay, so breath just gets better. That's cool. Blind sight, what up? You can see invisible creatures within that range. That's wicked. Explosion Fury. When you activate your aspect of the worm, Draconic Fury explodes from you. Aspect of the worm. Choose any number of creatures you can see in your aura. Each of those creatures must succeed a dex save against your key or take 3d10 acid, cold, fire, lightning, or poison damage, your choice. Okay, no need to change. Show enough. Way of the Ascended Dragon. What you got left? You got anything left for me, buddy? Way of the Astral Self. I got 10 minutes left. Let's see. Whew, woof. All right. You know what? I'm going to call it here. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Astral Self. Way of the... Wait. Cobalt Soul doesn't count. That's filthy Exandria muggle work. Of the Drunken Master. We did a lot of work on 4 elements already, but I don't mind reprinting most of it. Kinsei, I love the Kinsei rework. Love it, love it, love it. Long Death. Okay, so when we come back next week, I am expecting us to be able to get through Astral Self, Drunken Master. We already have 4 elements, so that'll be easy. Might be able to get the Kinsei resolved. And then we would have Long Death, Open Hand, Sun Soul. We may instead get through Astral Self, Drunken Master, and then upload, or just copy paste for LE stuff, and we have the Sun Soul stuff. Let's see if that is necessary. Like, I'm not going to put any of the half casting stuff into here, but when we do implement the half casting stuff, this will be published already, so any of the monks that you see, they're going to have their 50 some odd spell list that they can just do as, like, say, a Sun Soul, but then they'll also have the full repertoire of 170 some odd powers that we have here in Martial Powers already. So that's pretty hip. I'm going to enjoy having that integrated. Let me take a moment here. I've got a few minutes left, so what I'm going to do is my playtest team from the Spelljammer, the In Command of Spelljammer testing that we had done had suggested we should build some exploits for pilots. So I am going to chew on some quick exploit stuff here to see how that goes. Dogfighting, rams, grappling claws, gravity planes, and scuttling. Let's go with pilot exploits. While maintaining concentration, while maintaining concentration on a spell jamming helm, the pilot can choose from the following options. Let's go with All right, so So let's go down here. Let's see. Exploits 1. Let's see. Roll piloting check with advantage. Instinctive piloting. I don't know, maybe that's a horrible title. That's what we're going with for now. As a reaction to being as a reaction to the ship taking damage, increase ship AC +5 until the beginning of the next turn. Changing the hit into a potential miss. One of the big changes that we made to that we're going to be implementing with vehicles in command is instead of scaling up the number of hit points that a vehicle has with the rank of the pilot, instead leaving a static structural hit point amount. The Spelljammer is already calibrated to be 100 hit points. Your ship has 100 hit points per 50-foot square, but that never scales from level 1 to 20, right? So what we're going to do is our next test. We're going to go with if you are piloting or in command of the ship, whether you're piloting or not. If you're in command of the vessel, then you become the hit points for the ship. So you'll have your base ship hit points, like a hammerhead ship is 250 feet long. So it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 50-foot block. So a hammerhead ship just by itself has 500 hit points, which is about what the Spelljammer rulebook says. But if you are commanding that ship, then you take your hit points times 10, and that it acts as like a hit point buffer on top of your vehicle's damage. So you can choose to whittle down your hit points to protect the ship, but anytime you can just say, no, I'm going to let that go through, and it can hit the craft. The difference there is that your jammer pilot or whoever's commanding the ship can now receive hit points to heal themselves. I heal you for 8 hit points, then it's going to effectively give the ship 80 hit points. When you step out of the helm, then the ship, or if you lose concentration, then the ship drops down to its default base max, which, like the hammerhead ship, if it hasn't been wounded yet, hit 500 hit points. So a good strategy that you can now implement is attempting to scuttle a deck or hit the ship for enough damage that it disrupts the jammer's concentration, because with this implementation we can now have a Spelljammer pilot that's maintaining concentration check to see if they lose concentration when they take damage, and if they do, then they lose concentration until it's their turn again and they take an action to move the ship. They automatically fire up concentration again with the object interaction or whatever action is that they use. So you automatically regain concentration with using the ship that you're already in the helm of. But while you've lost concentration, your shields are down and the ship can take direct damage. So a good strategy is disrupt concentration with a good hit, or scuttle the deck, or do something that's going to disrupt the Spelljammer, the pilot's concentration. While his concentration is down, then you can blap the ship and start knocking down its damage pool before the pilot can regain his concentration and create that bubble of protection that his life force is emanating to animate the ship. This is going to let us have, like I said, the ability to heal on the fly the pilot that's running the ship. That also creates a fun narrative where if you've got like say Nyogi have a bunch of slaves that they have pinned to the Spelljammer helm, they can have them taking damage and dying instead of having their ship get wounded. So they can be sacrificing their slaves to protect the ship instead of the ship taking damage. Same thing with the Lithid, Beholders, blah de blah. A lot of good stuff to have fun there. Let's see, what else? So the instinctive piloting is when you make your roll. Uh-oh. We're going to give ourselves 10 minutes, and then we're going to boot scoot for the day. I won't be on. I don't think I'm going to be on later on tonight. I might be on late for like just like some late night doodling. But this evening is the Crystals of Mabar, the Eberron adventure I've been writing with Ogo Andy. That Stuart Braz is editing. That's we have Design Jam on Monday evening, but later on tonight I might be around to do some maybe do some monk art. I'm not sure what I'm going to get into. But let's see. We're going to go through some exploits here real quick just to see if there's any low-hanging fruit for us to pick up. Ambush, anticipate, charge. Charge. When you move 10 or more feet towards enemy, this movement doesn't provoke attack of opportunity. And you can add 1 power die per mana channel the first attack. Okay. Let's see. Ships. Ships pounce. When you move, let's see, when you pilot your ship to ram when you make a ram attack immediately after taking immediately after moving the ship within melee range, your ram attack is made with advantage. Let's see. Okay, so that works. So you have to zoom in again. For me to be able to ram a ship, I have to be within the 50-foot area of that ship. So if I move within that, 500-foot area of that ship, so I have to use a piloting check to get into a dogfight at the 50-foot scale. And then from the dogfight, I zoom in further within the 50-foot scale so I can be within melee range of actually striking that ship with a ram. So when you make a ram attack immediately after closing within melee range of the target ship, that's better. Yeah. Ships pounce. I like that. Let's see, we're making an ability check. You can use intimidation, blah, blah, blah. Cliff runner, nope. Empowered shot, nope. Flash of insight, got that already. Inspired piloting, that's what we'll call that. Mountain ram. Might not be a lot. Let's see. Knowledge, swift tools, tactical assessment. Oh, study game. Attack, dodge, disengage. The pilot can choose to hold the bearing of the ship steady, to grant your crew advantage on attacks until the beginning of the pilot's next turn. I don't have to spend mana to hold steady. That's just something you should be able to do as easily as dodge or disengage. So, let it be so. Holding steady. Let's see. That roll piloting check with advantage is just so universal because like everything that the pilot does is it uses the piloting check. So that's like a super freaking universal thing to do. Let's see. Holding steady is not valid. Let's see what else we got. Fast feet. Oh, let's see. Catching the wind. Increase movement rate by 500 feet until the beginning of the pilot's next turn. It's like a metal sculpted tanky scorpion ship only has a speed of 500 feet per action, which is an object interaction, a bonus action, and a standard action. It's only 50 feet, not a lot. 500 feet, it's not a lot. But by catching the wind, you can push it to 1,000 feet per action instead of just 500. Likewise, if you have a light wood ship or ceramic built vessel such as a Star Moth, which has 1,500 feet per move, so it's object interaction, standard action, bonus action. Each one of those is 1,500 feet. Using catching the wind, it would instead be 2,000 feet instead of 1,500. Oh, saving grace. That's useful. What is it? All right, that's the end of my day. Roll with the tide. When crashing or when your ship is crashing or has its gravity plane scuttled, the ship and crew can save with advantage. Anything else grabbing my attention here real quick? You can empower target ally. Power target. Rally, sophistication. Neat stuff. Stealth is cool. Lethargy, shift gravity. These things are fun for Spelljammer. Phase. Phase is cool, but that would require gear, not. Well, maybe. Yeah, okay, well, that's legitimately my time. So, Martial Powers project's coming along nicely. Obviously, we're building out we're using some exploits and different maneuvers from Martial Powers to buff out piloting in the Spelljammer book that we've been putting together. I've been streaming that on Thursdays and been playtesting that with some folks. Tyler, thank you so much for being a participant in that. In the In Command project, we were able to find some the 50-foot scale, the 5-foot scale, all that stuff works great. The reload mechanics for siege weapons work exactly as intended, and that's fantastic as well. The only thing that we found was a problem, like a significant problem, was how wet noodle 500-foot scale combat on boats seems. That dog fighting at 50 foot, that was where we had like all the fun, where everyone was working together on the same ship to make it happen, to knock down the enemy ship. That was legitimately cool fun, but we lost that flavor when we scaled up to 500 feet and everyone was running their own ships. We had that same problem in Descent into Avernus 2 weeks ago when everyone had their own convoy and they were attacking at the 500-foot scale there as well. It was that same, we're in the same room together, but we aren't able to really interact with each other's characters. So you'll lose that camaraderie. So, I absolutely agree with Wizards that having everybody on the same ship is by far the most fun and keeps that teamwork mechanic, that synergy, that gestalt feeling that you have of everyone working together. You do want to keep that. So that's making us think that at the 500-foot scale, if you're controlling squadrons of ships, instead of if you're going to have everyone on separate ships, it means that they're all going to have to be able to interact with each other, even though they're potentially miles away from each other on the battlefield. An easy solution is to have them all on the same ship and then leading squadrons via sending stones or similar magic so that they can have communication. What is going on with my background recognition? Thank you. Nope, it's not. It's just not working today. Huh. Anyway, at the 500-foot scale, either everyone has to be on the same ship so they can interact with each other and then command at a distance using sending stones, etc. Or if you're going to have everyone in separate fleets that are inside of the same armada, or separate squadrons in the same fleet, then there has to be a way for the team to be able to share and help each other, cast spells to each other. That also means a changing in scale of spell casting across the expanse. So I think the next playtest we're going to do is just raw spell casting as written, 4E style, measuring things in squares instead of feet, so we can see if just your normal spell casting repertoire is going to give you that satisfying interaction and team synergy feeling via either convoys on the ground or squadrons in the sky. The mechanics are identical, it's just a flavor that changes. But that is very worth it. The 50-foot scale, anytime your team is on a truck together or on a spaceship together, and they can work together, fantastic. As soon as they start operating independently, they're kind of in their own bubble, all alone, and there's not much team synergy going on. So that's something we have to fix, and I think we have solutions. So looking forward to it. Stick around with us, like, subscribe, check out the books and the DMsGuild link in the description. They're all 100% free to review. Read them, love them, buy them, help me support the channel. Grab on Patreon, follow me on Twitter. I always post when I'm going live there. Be welcome to dive into this document through the Patreon link. You don't have to be a patron, but I'd certainly appreciate it. And check out this work along with the in-command system, the Spelljammer conversion project. All this stuff has playlists that are down in my channel's description, in the playlist descriptions. And that's the end of my lunch stream. So I hope you have a great lunch, and I'm looking forward to having games with y'all. Cheerio.